Hi and hello watch fans, and welcome to another edition of the Real Time Show on site at Polexpo for Watches and Wonders 2025. We are here today with one of our favourite brands, Ulysse Nardin, and talking once again to Matthieu Haverlan. How are you, Matthieu?
I'm very good. What about you?
Yeah, we're having a wonderful time. We are very, very exhausted, obviously, running back and forth between Time to Watches and here, but we would not want to miss this for the world because your novelty this year has been one of the most talked about throughout the fair so far. So can you please tell us what it is that you and I actually have on our wrists?
It's called the DIVEAIR. It's, as a matter of fact, the lightest mechanical dive watch ever made. But beyond that, the project started 5 years ago, and we wanted to create the ultimate high horology sport watch. So I think it's, what is it?
Just that.
Yes. So it's, when we were working on the project, we said, okay, what does it mean making the, ultimate high horology sport watch? And we agreed that there are three ultimate challenges. Number one is lightness. It must be light, if possible, ultra light and super comfortable. Number two, it needs to be robust, which is a challenge when you make something super light. And what does it mean making a watch robust when you are Ulysse Nardin? Ideally, because it's a sport watch, it should be a dive watch. And we have very robust manufacture movements, like, the 118 caliber that you have on the regular DIVEAIR 44. That watch can withstand 5,000 Gs in terms of acceleration or, shock. So we said, okay, we want also to aim for that on a much more complex product. And then high horology, because we are Ulysse Nardin, it must speaks high horology. We had pioneered skeletonization and ultra skeletonization in a dive watch with the DIVEAIR Skeleton X in 2021. So we said, okay, how can we push that further? Especially if we want to make the watch light, we're going to have to remove and even rework the caliber to be even more skeletonized. So that's what you have at the end on the DIVEAIR. It's a super light sport watch. It's 52 grams, including the Velcro strap. The strap weight is 6 grams, so the head of the watch is 46 grams. But on top of that, it's a proper diving watch, and it's water resistant to 200 meters. And at the same time, it's super robust. So at 200 meters, you've got a pressure of 170 kilograms on the sapphire glass. So it must be robust. But on top of that, we have the same shock resistance as a regular DIVEAIR 44 in titanium, which is 5,000 Gs. And 5,000 Gs, that's about the swing of a pro golfer, when he hit the ball. Wow. So, we did it.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it. I mean, it's an absolutely remarkable achievement. I've got it on my wrist, and you wouldn't really be able to tell that there's anything there. It's so stunningly light, but there's so much to it, so much depth, especially in the movement. Haverlan, have you had a chance to try it on yourself yet?
I haven't. We're sitting in an amazing room. It's actually a studio on the booth. Yeah. And to welcome me, it's all orange for the Dutchies. And you have actually a beautiful orange strap on rub. I haven't tried it on to answer your question. Matthieu is wearing a wonderful white strap, and I'm proud of him. Last year he rocked Jordans, J1s, AJ1s. Today he went even more OG. He has Dunks on in the UNC colorways. So I'm very, very pleased because we're getting a warm welcome here. Matthieu, until I get finally the watch from Rob in my hands and on my wrist, DIVEAIR. We see beautiful pictures here of professionals diving from the air.
Yeah.
So you guys are playing the double dive theme. Is it also taken into account to be light underwater and coming from the sky? Or are you making a pun that it's so light, it will blow up into the air? So let's talk about the term or name DIVEAIR, which you did without a space in between the two words.
It came naturally. It's a diver watch. So, we have to call it DIVEAIR, right? And it's super light. So I think, air is the right word. It's like, the very light MacBook is called the MacBook Air. The Nikes, that help you jump even higher than if you don't wear them are called, the Air, the Nike Air. So air is the right word. It expresses lightness. It's cool. Everyone remember. And it's also a bit contradictory with diver. Okay, diver, air, tell me more, you know? So I think it's a good, catchy word combination. And then as far as the visuals that you see here on the studio, yes, it's a bit of inspiration. So actually Ash from, Watchonista, she's been skydiving with it, a few days back. She made it with the watch. We have also Mike Coates, who is a professional surfer. He lost when he was 18 a leg being eaten by a shark. He punched the shark and he managed to swim back to the shore. The guy is a force of nature. He's today one of the most important advocates for sharks protections. And he's been running our divers for now, 3-4 years, and he's been running it and all good too. So, water, air, but beyond that, I've been playing golf with this one, many times, tennis, working out with the prototype, that's why for me, DIVEAIR, it's to put a name behind it, but for me, it is the ultimate high horology sport watch. And I'm going to say something to you, and it's again, not to be controversial at all. A good friend of mine is a very good friend with Charles Leclerc. And when Charles Leclerc jumped into the Monaco harbor, last year after winning the Monaco Grand Prix, and came back on land, he flooded his watch with water, literally. But I know why. It's full of carbon. So yes, it's super light. It's like 30 plus grams, but it's not the ultimate high horology sport brand for sure, product, because you can't have a bath with it. So that's what we wanted to do with this watch. We wanted to create something that can, be with you in really any kind of situation. And I'm going to tell you something more. I was in Philly for a collector's gathering about a month ago. And a good friend of mine, his name is Rob Huberti. He's a former sniper in the Navy SEALs, right? So he's in the elite of the army. And he's a legend. On top of that, he founded a startup called Zero Eye that, thanks to AI, is preventing potential mass shooting, identifying potentially, shooters with guns and stuff like that. But anyway, he loves watches. And when he was on the field, back some days, years ago, he was always wearing his watches. And he's a big fan of Rolex. But the first UN he bought is a Freakex Ops. Because, it's a Freakex, but it has that military flair. But when he saw the prototype of the DIVEAIR with me, he said to me, Matthieu, just make sure that you deliver the first one to me, because that would have been the watch that I would have brought on the field when I was in the army, for sure.
Amazing. I wouldn't want to use this segue to talk about how you created it this light. For fans of Ulysse Nardin, they know you guys have been pushing boundaries for decades on innovation. The first to do a silicon escapement with the Freak, with the late Rolf Schneider. And you guys have now regained your independence again. And you know how I noticed it? We have a beautiful booklet in front of us. And what stood out for me is you suddenly talk about your partners, which usually the indies do.
Yeah.
I mean, our mutual friends at MENF are famous for incorporating the friends. So I see you guys do that as well. Can we walk through a new term for me, Nilo foil?
Yeah, Nilo foil is it's a composite that we created to make part of the case. So the main part of the case is in titanium because we need the watch to be light, but also to be water resistant. But then we need extra lightness. So what we did is we've got side part of the case that we have been building from Nilo foil. So Nilo foil is a composition of carbon fiber. It's the same carbon fiber. You see the marble that you have on the bezel. It's the same carbon fiber that you have on the Nilo foil. But we mixed it with fishing nets, with ocean netting. Why are we doing it? For two reasons. 60% ocean netting, 40% carbon foil. We have the best combination for something super light and something super robust. And on top of that, there is a meaning. With the link that we have with the oceans, we are concerned as a brand of the pollution of the oceans. So we've been partnering with a startup in France to extract from the sea the ocean netting that are polluting the oceans and to make a material out of it called the nylon. Mixed with the carbon foil, we created the nylon foil.
I'm a big advocate of sustainability. I love how far you guys go by putting percentages down. 60% for the nylon, 40% for the carbon fibers, the carbon foil bezel, 100%. Now, something new for me, maybe it's my ignorance, but might be you're the first ever. The escapement is used by upcycled silicone wafers. I've never heard that in watchmaking.
So, just to be clear on the sustainability aspect, the goal for us is to make a superior product. It's to make the ultimate high horology sport watch. We need superior components, superior materials. Then, if we can tell a story which is authentic behind it, is good. But we don't intend to make the most sustainable sport watch.
No greenwashing, what I like.
No, and that's why the thing with ocean netting is because we have a commitment to help cleaning the oceans and to raise concern about polluting the ocean. That's why we're doing it, right? I'm not putting a part of my jacket into the composite of the watch, right? So, having said that, we've been on the silicone when we create, a silicone component for our escapement. We've got leftovers, and we want to reuse those leftovers to recreate components in silicone. So this is what we do. So that it's a kind of a closed cycle. There is no leftover at the end.
Are you the first to do it?
Yes, for sure. I mean, when you pioneer silicone, then you can think about something else. So when we did pioneer silicone, then we advanced silicone with a diamond seal, adding a coating of diamond on our silicone escapement. And that's why today we are the only one of doing it, because we are the only one thinking of doing it.
So I love the initiatives that go into this watch, but we also need to talk a little bit more for the listeners to this podcast who can't see what we have before us here about what it actually looks like and, where it fits in the whole Ulysse Nardin canon. It is very much a diver by UN. It couldn't be by any other brand. Notably, the bezel, of course, with the carbon foil it's become a bit of a calling card of this era and this echelon of divers that you produce. And here it is beautifully quietened down by the nylon foil flanks. Now, it's an interesting thing when you look at the watch broken into pieces. As Matthieu said, the important thing to obtain that water resistance that was maybe not present in the docks of Monaco last year is to have that solid case core. But it's not just the case core, it's also a whole titanium case with lug protrusions as well for added stability and strength, so that the strap isn't bearing on a non-titanium and non-traditional material. The extra dimensions to the lugs and the case flanks are provided by effectively sheaths made out of this nylon foil, which is lovely, matte, beautiful shape and really lovely machining on it. It gives the whole watch its character. Turn it over and you have a titanium caseback, a screw-down titanium caseback that looks extremely technical, but most impressively for a sports watch water-resistant to 200 meters is this enormous edge-to-edge display back. And this is mirrored by a massive dial aperture as well, which gives us a total run through the movement. I mean, to me, this aesthetic is a perfect mixture of functionality and flair. It looks incredible. It's everything that you would expect from Ulysse Nardin, but in a package that can be worn daily. So what does it cost to put together something like this?
So many friends and collectors said to me that, they are happy that we price it at 36,000 Swiss francs, including VAT. And at the same time, when you put it in comparison with watches that are highly water resistant and, very light, obviously you've got, some of those, some Richard Milles. You have also Omega, that did it. I don't know if it's more of a concept watch, the watch that actually I think has been on the wrist, at the Olympic Games. I think it's 150 meter water resistant and it's 50 plus 55 grams or something like that. But it's like 50K. So we price it at 36,000 Swiss francs. I've been told during the fair that it's basically, not expensive enough. I like to say that it's a fair price. I'm taking also into consideration the other diver product that we have. I want a bit of a consistency. But honestly, we are not having huge margin and huge coefficient on those products, especially if I take into account all the R&D that we've been putting into it in the last 5 years. But they are not projects. The main goal of Ulysse Nardin is not to make money. And I'm really saying that. It's to advance the watchmaking industry. Obviously, we want to make a bit of money. We want to be profitable. We want to be able to invest in R&D. We want to keep, pushing the boundaries of the escapement of the silicone, etc., etc. But the main goal is the brand mission. And the brand mission has been the very same since the beginning. It's not me saying it. It's Paul David Nardin, the son of Ulysse Nardin. He said in 1876, if it's possible, it's done. If it's impossible, it will be done. And he had that mindset when he created the first marine depth chronometer. And it's because he had that mindset and kept innovating that the British Navy ended up buying the marine chronometers from Ulysse Nardin because they were more accurate. They were a game changer. And not having one on board was becoming a huge military disadvantage. So that's who we are, and that's what to do. That's our the reason why we make watches. And the other thing, our responsibility extends to the industry itself. I'm giving you 2 examples. Obviously, you got the silicone. It's not even an example. Today, if we had not pioneered silicone, many brands would not be using silicone today. We co-founded Sigatech, right? A pioneer in silicone technology. We rescued one of the oldest and best atelier dedicated to enameling called Donze Cadran. 95% of what they produce goes to our competitors. And we are absolutely fine with that because the brand mission is to advance and to serve the industry. That's why we exist.
Obviously, people like Alon and I who adore watchmaking and want to see these advancements and progressions are extremely grateful to the mission of Ulysse Nardin. But tell me, how does it reflect in those sales and in the commercial side of things? Because in the last couple of years, it's been a very trying time for the entire industry. And you are pursuing your brand mission, the mission that has always been and the mission that always will be for Ulysse Nardin. But obviously, like you say, you don't covet huge riches or piles of gold. You just want to keep going and keep offering something to the horological landscape. But how difficult has it been over the last couple of years for your messaging to cut through all of the pessimisms that have surrounded watchmaking in general? Has it been a struggle?
No, we are financially sound. When I say financially sound, it means that, we are independent. We have no debt. We own the business, and we want to take the time to do what is right. And so when you have that flexibility, you don't panic when the environment is getting more difficult. So the way we grow we kept flat the production. We don't produce more watches than 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I'm not increasing the production for the next X years. We grow on proportion, selling slightly more expensive watches. So in proportion, we sell a bit more freaks, a bit more blast, a bit more very high-end watches in terms of product mix compared to what we used to sell before. And that's enough to grow on a healthy basis. And we have no intention to grow, in fact.
In terms of numbers?
In terms of numbers, in terms of watches we produce, absolutely.
Will that mean then in the future that we see the more entry-level pieces, because obviously the Diver's got a lovely entry-level model that is aesthetically reminiscent of the higher-end stuff like this, but will that mean that we're going to see the exit of those models and we're going to see more focus on the technology that you've developed for this 52-gram piece itself?
You're going to see innovation across the board. So, you'll see that now it's a time to talk about our sports line, the diver line. You'll see that we're gonna, keep bringing, I believe, not a lot, but amazing timepieces on the free collection in the next 18 months. Mm-hmm. And then there will be a time also where we'll be talking about the marine. But the red thread, it's gonna be innovation. Whether it's in the material, whether it's in the mechanism, whether it's in the, keep on improving the escapement of a watch. That's a red thread. And then we need to make sure that each of the collections are, covering a different segment. Marine for me is the sport chic product. Mm-hmm. But there is a sport component into it, and that's why, we're going to have a more screw down crown watches. We're going to have added water resistance also to the watches, because, if you have your nice marine during the day with like Elon with his suit, if he's having a party with friends nearby the lake and you want to have a swim, at midnight, you want that watch to be with him when he's swimming in the lake. That's why we're going to improve that also on the marine going forward. Then you've got the diver. Diver, it's a sport watch. Yes, you can wear it with actually it goes well with your suit, but it's a watch you can wear it in any configuration, especially sports configuration. And then you've got the freak and the blast, which are contemporary, high horology. So as far as the entry that you mentioned, today the entry is maybe around like 10k euro, or something for the marine and diver. We will keep upgrading the product. So step by step, the entry is going to be more around 15k euro, but only through bringing adding value and better product. I think it's not alright for UN to have watches below 10k as a positioning as a brand.
I mean, I'm glad to hear that you're going to continue to add value to the products. I think last year when we spoke, it was our observations of the industry en masse. And although the maybe negative vibes that affect other brands haven't really touched Ulysse Nardin and haven't really touched its position as a market-leading innovator, it's great to see that you're also listening to the needs and the demands of customers, and for them to be able to wear the watches day in, day out in any situation. And personally, I've always wanted to buy into the diver range, so I guess if you feel like me, you better do it quick.
And on a closing note, it sounds so extreme light, and I have it finally on my wrist because Rob, I had to twist his arm to get it off his wrist. I love the pursuit for lightness and durability and sustainability. It could be a negative correlation to sturdiness and quality. Yep. So since we're an audio-only podcast, just listen to this, guys and girls. And I think that says it enough. 50 plus grams, but sturdy like a Volt.
Yeah, it's built like a tank and it wears like a dream. I'm going to need to start saving up, I think. But I tell you what, 35, what was it, 35, 36?
36 Swiss,
36, yeah. Okay, well, maybe 35 between friends, but 36 Swiss, I think, is an absolutely fantastic price for what it is. It has all of the great Ulysse Nardin DNA. You can see it in the silicon balance fluttering away at 6 o'clock. I'm in love. Matthieu, thank you for your time. Thanks, as always, for giving us something to get excited about, and I wish you a wonderful end to the fair.
Thank you so much, the two of you.